we're going to start up here in the front. It has a tongue jack light for hooking up at nighttime. It has our up and down button for taking it on or off the vehicle. There's also a manual crank handle in the front door compartment that comes through the top that will manually crank that jack up or down either way you need it to go to get it on or off the vehicle. Has two 20-pound propane cylinders that are full except for what we use to service the trailer. The arrow on the regulator is pointed towards that one over there, so that's the one we worked off of when we serviced the trailer. As soon as that tank would happen to come up empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye, indicate that the bottle it's pointed to is empty. If the cylinder on the other side's already opened up, it'll automatically pick up from this side here, so you don't lose your gas service in the middle of the night. Still going to show you red in the eye that the one it's pointed to is empty. Has one new 12-volt battery on the front of the unit. It also has a battery disconnect. The battery disconnect's used for in between long periods not using the trailer. If you don't want it to drain the juice that's in the battery out, you can turn the key off, put the cap over it, and it will save the juice that's in the battery for the next time you come up to use it to run the tongue jacks or the slide rooms in and out. But for the battery to charge, it has to have the key in it and be in an on position to charge off the solar or off the 110 line. The disconnect's just used for when you're not going to use it. The battery's fully charged. Take the key out, go from there. Does have two holes on the bottom of the bottle rack cover. Bungee cord goes underneath it. Does have the quick disconnect up at the top so that you don't have to take the cover off the bottles every time you want to get into the cylinder and turn the motor off. Also has the 7-way holder on the side that keeps your 7-way up off the ground and your chains, keeps them from corroding. As we start down the off-door side, you got your big through compartment over here. It does have magnets to hold the doors up. That is your power cord. It is a 50-amp service. It is 36 foot long. It does have blue LED lights on the end of it. Shows that it has power coming through it. We also have our BL jacks on all four corners. There is also a manual crank handle in the front door side compartment that you can manually crank them jacks up or down. They're not for leveling the trailer from side to side. They are for stabilizing only while you walk through the center of the trailer. So once they come down, hit the ground, go about a turn past that, just put a little pressure on them. It just keeps the trailer stable while you're walking through it. Slide room's already out on this one here. Lug nuts on the trailer are torqued at 100 foot-pounds. The tire pressure is 65 pounds on the side of the tire code. Then we're going to come back to our termination valve. The 3-inch black valve in the front is the toilet water. The 2-inch gray valve in the back will be your kitchen sink, your bathroom sink, and your shower water for it. It also has a black tank flush on the very back of the unit. That's our power cord from the shop hooked up to the trailer. It does have a part cable hookup and a satellite hookup here underneath this. If I can get my fingers to open it up. I'm gonna have to come back to that. My little razor knife will open it up. But in the very back, it is prepped for a backup camera up top. It is also prepped for a Lippert extendable ladder. We have our black tank flush on the left-hand side that you can hook to with a water hose and regulator. While you're dumping your holding tanks, once all the nasties come out of the black that'll come out, you can hook a water hose and regulator up to the black tank flush. Turn water pressure onto it. It has a little aerator on the inside that spins around, helps clean more of the debris out of the inside of the black tank only. The connection on the right-hand side is the city water connect that you can hook to with a water hose and regulator and never have to fill the fresh tank on it. Work right off the water pressure going through the hose. Does have a spare tire on the back that's been air ducted pressure, 65 PSI. Does have the new Parkland tire cover over the outside of it. We also have a quick connect gas hookup here in the very back. As we step around the side, it does have a port sprayer. Hose hooked up here inside. It gives us cold water only to this side of the unit. It does have magnets to hold up the compartment doors. It does have an outside refrigerator that is 110 only. Has to be plugged into the 110 line for the unit. We come back to our outside grill. It does have a safety mechanism on the right hand side that holds it in place while you're traveling. And what it does, it'll slide out, slides right back down. Quick connect hose hooks right to the back of it. Goes right down behind the outside grill. Comes over and hooks to the connection here. It's gonna push it in. It's like a quick connect on an air hose. Goes in, clicks in place. Then it has a little handle up on top that has to come down in line with the gas line for it having gas coming off your propane bottles on the front. Then it has its own striker. All you have to do is push in on it. Push in on it, click it over to the side. Automatically it'll light. Dial it up to the temperature you want. Did have the paper up here on top, shows you about the griddle, how you have to season it before you push the griddle back in. You have to lift up on the red handle, disconnect your gas hose, slide it right back in place. You can put your gas hose here on top. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it out for now. It also has a 110 outlet to the right side of the outside kitchenette. And then we have our 2 low water drain points. The red side is the hot side of the water system. The blue is the cold side of the water system. Those are used for winterizing and de-winterizing of the unit, and in between long trips, draining the water out of the lines on your way home. It does have the 2 JBL speakers on the outside. We also have a stove vent. For the stove vent to work properly, you have to pull the 2 tabs up, allows the flapper to flap when you're using the fan. But in travel, you'll want to push those back down in place, lock them back in. There is a place for the TV to come out here to the outside. There is a park cable hookup and antenna coax. Another 110 outlet to plug it into, so you can have TV on the outside. And then we're going to go up to our furnace connection. On the furnace, 6 cold air at the top, cover at the bottom. I always suggest putting a mud diver screen over the outside of the furnace for a simple fact. The mud diver screen is less than 20 bucks. It's $1.55 for every hour that we have to take the furnace out to clean the mud divers out of it. So that $20 investment's worth its weight in gold if you ask me. Our next connection is the fresh tank drain. Little white T-handle underneath it for draining the fresh tank. Fresh tank will fill right here to the left side of the hot water heater with a water hose. Then we're going to go into our Suburban on-demand water heater. It has a button on the right-hand side that is in the on position. We're going to turn it off as O. I is on. There's still going to be another button on the inside for the Suburban on-demand water heater that has to be on too for the water heater to work properly. We're going to come up to the front compartment. It does have the 2 handles. The little S handle is for the tongue jack. The bigger handle with a 3/4 inch socket on the end of it is the one for the stabilizer jacks. And then we have a light switch on the right hand side of that compartment that turns our 2 LED strips on the front of the unit on. So it has a little fancy lighting on it. Now we're going to go back to the front door. We're going to open the door fully extended. Little blue handle on the left hand side loosens the steps from the door frame. As it comes out, it has a little push button underneath each one of the legs with 15 to 18 slots in the legs for adjustment. The main thing is when the steps come out and lay down, they have to lay flat in the threshold so that the front door fits over the top of them properly without dragging. So here again, we're going to open the door. We're going to go to the inside. It does have a working fire extinguisher on the left hand side as we step in, and a 110 outlet to the left of the door as we come in. We're going to go all the way up here to the top. We'll start with our solar panel digital readout. Shows you that there's 13.8 volts going to it. The temperature is 52 degrees today. Does put out 13.8 volts from the solar panels to the battery until it loads up, when it'll say full. Excuse me, down here at the bottom we have our JBL Bluetooth controller here. Right down below that controls the 2 outside speakers. Excuse me. We're going to go up to the top of the monitor panel. The button on the far left hand side is your freshwater tank. It shows you that it has 2/3 of a tank of water left in it. Does have a little green sticker here on the side that shows you the same thing I'm telling you. The battery is the voltage that's in the battery, shows you that it's fully charged. Black tank 1 is your toilet water, and it's empty. Black tank 2 is not available in this trailer, doesn't have the second bathroom. Then your gray tank is your shower and your sinks. Excuse me. And then your galley tank's not using this unit either. The first button on the left-hand side is the pump switch. Turns the pump on between the freshwater tank and the faucets. Give a little bump right there. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on for just a minute because I do want to show you how the controller on the hot water heater works next. We do have awning lights that turns the awning lights on underneath the awning. Then we have accented lighting, which turns the lights on above the slide room. And it also turns a little LED strip here on the shelf on. The big switch down below it turns all the center row of lights on, and they are to where you can dim them out by pulling down on the slider. We're going to push it right back up. Then we have a slide room switch to run the slide room in and out, and we have an awning switch to run the awning in and out. The brown vents on the side of the cabinets is where the heat comes from. As we step around the kitchen sink, it has a trash can underneath it that you can access from this side over here. But the trash can won't come out till you access this side over here to pull it out so you can take the trash can out. Found out that the hard way. Here again on the kitchen faucet. Does have red and blue. Turn it all the way down the red side, pull back on the handle for it having water coming through it, all the way to the top, and pull back for the cold water. Does have two light switches underneath the cabinet here that you can turn on, giving you lighting for up here. Pretty good sized cabinet space up above it. Could add a lot of little snacks in there. Then we're going to come to the microwave cover. Does have a cover on it that you have to lift up. It is strut assisted. Microwave's pretty good. I warmed my coffee and my lunch up in it yesterday, but it also has a clock button. Let's hit the clock button in the center. Let's say it's 11 o'clock. Hit that clock button again till the two center eyes is flashing to set the time on it. The only reason I set the time on the microwave is I can tell if the trailer's lost 110 power coming to it when I come back to the unit, if for any reason the clock doesn't have the right time. Here again, we're going to go into the top drawer. It does have a fireplace in it. The red button automatically turns it on. It has heat controls. You got low and high. You can change the color of the rocks in the bottom, and you can also change the color of the flames. And it also has a timer that runs from anywhere from 30 minutes, I think, to 9 hours. Yep, to 9 hours. But that's controlled off the red button there. I'm going to go ahead and let it running. There's two sets of keys to the unit. The purple key does the lock and deadbolt on the front door. The white key does all your outside compartments. The most important piece of paper in the whole unit is this one right here. It is the Forest Information Appliance Sheet that will give you the manufacturer of the appliances and the model and serial number. For any reason, any of the appliances go out, that's the first thing the warranty guy is going to ask for is the model and serial number. That sheet there is very important. Keep it handy in case anything would happen to go out. Then all the rest of the paperwork is in the black bag here in the top drawer. So we'll push it right back in there and we'll leave the two keys out. Does have another drawer down below it. We're going to come over to the hood range. For the hood range to work properly on the fan, the two tabs on the outside need to be pushed up. Allows the flapper to flap, but it does have a light at the top for the stove top. Push it centers off, down on for the fan. We're going to go back to the light. Does have a glass stove top that has to be turned up 2 times up out of the way. Button on the far right hand side illuminates the valves themselves. We're going to turn them to the highlight position using the striker on the left hand side to light them. Anytime there's gas coming through the valve, it'll turn red instead of being blue. All 3 burners up on top light off the striker on the left hand side. So we're going to turn them right back off. We're going to go down into the oven. We're going to turn it to where it says pilot flame on it. We're going to use the striker on the left hand side. Sometimes it takes it a little longer to get gas down to the pilot. There we go, we got her lit. We're going to let her run for about a minute till it heats the thermocouple up right above the flame. Once it heats the thermocouple up right above it, then we can dial our temperature up. Presto, magic, the oven has lit.
Poof.
No digging for the old long lighter or match anymore. Anytime it has gas coming through the valve, it'll illuminate red instead of being blue. And if you flip that button on the left or far right hand side to the down position, it also gives you a light inside the oven so you can see what you're baking. We're going to come down to the two hidden panels down below it. The hidden panel on the left hand side accesses you into the back of the hot water heater so you can see the valves, the connections on the back of the hot water heater. The panel on the right hand side accesses you into your water pump, and it does have a one valve bypass on the water pump that already has a winterizing hose on it that you stick down your gallon of antifreeze. Turn the valve to where it's sucking from the gallon of antifreeze, kick your pump switch on, and put antifreeze all through the whole unit. Sometimes it takes 2 gallons. Here again, we're going to go up to the refrigerator freezer section. It does have controls for it in the upper right hand corner. Pretty well tested out the other day. I think I got 2 degrees in the freezer and 33 in the refrigerator. The vent right down below the refrigerator is the cold air return for the furnace. We're going to come over to the thermostats next. It has 2 thermostats in because it has 2 air conditioners. The very top one, we're going to turn the mode button on twice for it. We're going to bring it over to where it says cool. We're going to hit the fan speed, which is auto and high. Then we're going to hit the mode button one more time. It's dialed down to 33 degrees on the setting. It's 51 degrees in the unit. Automatically it kicks on. Here again, we're going to go ahead through the process and shut it back off. We're going to hit the mode button 2 times at the bottom, which brings us back to the cool. We're going to go over to the off section. Hit the mode button one more time. It's going to bring it over to the fan section. Hit that mode button one more time and shuts us off. Here again, the very top thermostat actually works the furnace too. So we're going to go back to it. We're going to dial it up to where it says heat. Hit the mode button one time on it. Automatically it'll kick on. The temperature for the room is set at 87 degrees. It's 51 in the room right now, but the furnace kicks on. It's got a self-igniter on, so it's going to light itself. So all you have to do is dial it to the temperature that you want it set to. Let's take it down from 80. Let's take it down to about 70. There you go. We're set to 70 degrees on it. The bottom thermostat works the bunk room air conditioner only. So we'll hit the mode button on it twice. It says off. We're going to bring it over to where it says cool. We're going to hit it over to where if it says fan speed, we're going to go for auto and high. Temperature set for 33 degrees on it. Automatically the AC kicks on in the bunk room. Here again, we're going to go back to the bottom thermostat. We're going to push the mode button twice, which brings us back to the appliance. We're going to turn it to where it says off. We're going to hit the off button one time, come over to the fan speed. We're going to hit it off. It's already 52 degrees in the unit. It's not really necessary to have the AC on. We do have a LP carbon monoxide detector down below us that has a real annoying little sound. If for any reason it has LP, you're going to hear that sound. If for any reason you get carbon monoxide, you're going to hear. Should do it one more time. I guess that was the twice. As we come into the bathroom, there's a light switch on the wall that turns the lighting around the mirror on. The light in the ceiling has to be turned on by hand. A little push button in the center of it turns it on and off. We have the narrow knob up in the vent that cranks it up. Little black switch off to the right hand side turns the fan on. That's for pulling moisture out of the bathroom. Going to turn it back off. We're going to close it back down. We're going to come to, it does have the GFCI outlet in the bathroom for all the 110 outlets in the unit, inside and out. The little green light indicates that it's working. Then we're going to go to the Suburban on-demand water heater. It has the little blue button that turns it on. Then anytime we call for hot water on the left side of the faucet, automatically it's going to come on. It's got the little sprinkler on the left-hand side showing it's got water coming through the faucet. The little fan on the center showing you that it is circulating through the hot water heater. And then you have your little flame on the right-hand side indicating that it did light on gas. And then you'll notice the temperature change in the water temperature as it goes up. And it should go up to 122. There's 120, just another minute longer. Then you're at 122, which is smoking hot coming out of the faucets. So I'm going to shut that water off. As soon as you shut it off, it'll automatically go back to the flame going off, the sprinkler going off. The fan's still going to circulate in the center for a minute. Then it's going to tell you the water temperature up at the top, and it'll start dropping in temperature as it cools off. It has a single foot flush on the right hand side of the toilet for filling and flushing it. Push halfway down, it fills with water. Push all the way down, fills and dumps through the bottom. Same way with your shower in here. It's got the hot water on the left side, cold water on the right side. Same way with the bathroom sink. It's hot on the left, cold on the right. It does have a privacy curtain here for the shower. Clicks into place. It does have the little dome up in the top for you taller guys. We're going to come out of the bathroom and we're going to go into the bunk room. Excuse me. All the bunk room lights have to be turned on by hand. They have a little push button in the center of those. There's one above every one of the beds. There is a USB port on the top bunk. There is a USB port on the bottom bunk. And there's also a USB port over here by the TV area for the bunk up here on the top. There is a 110 outlet and another coax cable that works off the park cable or the antenna on top for the TVs. Here again, we're going to lift this bed up. We do have the foldable couch down below it. There is a travel lock on this side over here for the top bunk while you're in travel. Does have a heat register in here that brings heat into the bunk room. Has two AC vents at the top for the AC in the bunk room. We also have a fire escape window. It's pretty simple to use. Grab a hold of the red tab on the screen on the inside, pulls the screen loose. Then the red handle comes off the holder over on this side, goes all the way through the bottom of the window frame for access out that window from the bunk room. We do have our breaker box located in the bunk room with your 50 amp main being in the center. All your breakers from the left to the right are marked exactly what they are. All your 12 volt fuses on the right hand side are marked exactly what they are from the top to the bottom, and it gives you about 4 or 5 spots at the bottom that are empty. Anytime one of those 12 volt fuses would happen to blow, it does have a red light off to the right hand side that illuminates red when the fuse is blowed, that you can also see through the tinted window on the front door panel lid itself. So now we're going to go back into the kitchen living room area. Does have a pretty good sized pantry off on the left hand side. You put a lot of little goodies inside of it. Tabletop comes off the two pedestals, goes between the two bumpers on either side of the benches. The two back cushions come over the top of the table to make a smaller bed there. The back cushion on the bench on the right hand side can come over to this side here to make it an L-shaped couch on that side there. All the lights in the slide room have to be turned on by hand. They have a little push button in the center of those. They do have the slow rising shades. The windows are not marked as fire escape windows, but as you can see, they do pull all the way over to the side. Gives you pretty good size access. They can be used for fire escape windows on either one of the bed sites. The handles just ain't marked red. There is storage underneath each one of the benches and a tote, a plastic tote on either side. Underneath the couch, there's 3 plastic totes. The extra cushion here is for when you turn the bench seat from this position to the back to make it an L-shaped couch. This will go over against the wall on that side there to finish out the corner of the couch in the L shape. There is a place for a TV over here. Does have a TV mount. We do have a TV antenna booster. Green light indicates that it's working. The TV coax go to the bottom. If you're running satellite from the outside, your coax go to the top. Does have a 110 plug-in to plug it into. Does have pretty good sized cabinet space on either side of the fireplace. Fireplace feels really good this morning to me.
Yes, it does.
Does have a pretty decorative shelf up here that is working off the accent light. So if you wanted to put something up there you wanted to accent,
Snacks.
Snacks. We do have a fire extinguisher above our head.
Smoke detector.
Smoke detector. As we go into the master bedroom, it does have a light switch that turns the 2 lights above the bed on. We also have a USB port on either side of the master bed. We also have a 110 outlet on either side of the bed. If we go up underneath the mattress, we do have a little storage that you can access into the front compartment, or the 4 totes across the bottom for extra shoes. Then we're going to go back to the VersaTilt bed switch, is right in behind Patty. We're going to push it in the up position. And then as the VersaTilt bed comes up, you can't be laying on it. It won't lift you up, but it'll also tilt up so that if you have your TV mounted on this wall here where the TV backer is, plugged into the 110 outlet, working off the park cable or antenna on top, you can sit there and lay in bed and watch TV. Pretty good size storage on this left hand side. It's got a shelf at the bottom, but it does have clothes hanger at the top. And it also has a clothes basket down at the bottom for the dirty clothes that can be collected in that basket and accessed from the outside compartment or from the inside, either way you want to go with it. We also have 1 white plate on the wall behind Patty. Doesn't have anything that plugs into it, but it is access for your awning wires and fusible link. For any reason the fuse won't work or the awning won't work on its own, you can always check the 2 connections in behind that white plate there. And I think it does have a fusible link in there too that could go bad. If it goes bad, you can change the fusible link and then the awning should run in and out. But that is the access panel for the electric wiring on the awning itself. It does have the 2 round vents in the ceiling to bring AC in from the bedroom and bunk room. And that's basically everything on your unit. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer the best that I can, and thank you for your time.